Jackals TV is back on the air here on YouTube, and today we'll be looking at a July 14th game against the mighty Hellfish that the Jackals played in the 19 plus D2 division at Langley Twin Rings. Here you see the lineup for today, a large number of scratches, and so there are three spares in the lineup: Chris Marshall, Brad Haber, and Bruce Turgeon helping out here tonight. The Jackals are in the midst of a 5-game losing streak, including an 8-2 loss in their last game. They played the Hellfish twice this year, losing both those games by a 4-1 score. So it's going to be probably an uphill battle here for the Jackals tonight, but they'll give it their all and we'll see how it goes. So let's head to the highlights. And it's actually a strong start for the Jackals as the initial faceoff has just happened. Brad moves this puck up the wall to Lloyd, who then throws it up the middle. It's a breakaway for Chris Marshall, but he mishandles the puck at the blue line. He had Rob with him too for a 2-on-0, and that puck just sticks to his skates and in the defender, and he can't get control of it. Jackals still have the puck. Here comes Brad again. Rather than passing, he's going to skate this one down the ice. Goes down the left side, puts a shot up high off the goaltender's shoulder. And that's going to be the last we're going to see from the Jackals from a while from an offensive perspective. So here we see them. There's a puck that it slides off that player's stick and somehow finds its way off the backhand of Bruce and past Trevor, and it's 1-0 for the Hellfish. Next we see a nice blocker save from Trevor, and this puck's going to come back out front, and they try to jam away at it. There's a mad scramble in front. Players are laying down the ice. It ultimately stays out of the net. Now here's a Hellfish 3-on-2 that's going to get turned into a 4-on-2. Drop pass there. Save. Rebound comes out to that player. Direct set on net, but Trevor is there to make a save off the rebound as well. Hellfish again coming down the right side. This puck goes into the corner. Bruce puts it up the wall. Gary is there, but it's a high puck and it rims up past him, and that point shot is tipped in by that player in front neatly over Trevor's glove. And it's now 2-0 for the Hellfish. And it just gets worse. Here's a puck up ice. Rob can't handle it. A little reminiscent of earlier with Chris Marshall, and this Hellfish player picks it up, comes down the left side, cuts to the left, throws it back on net, and somehow that finds a way through Trevor. It looks like maybe on the blocker side, and it's now 3-0 for the Hellfish. The Hellfish are looking for more, and eventually they're going to move this puck over onto the left side. And as that player steps across the line, Chris Marshall is going to give him a tiny little shove, send him flying. The referee right there is going to deem that a penalty. So the Hellfish go to the power play. And with less than a minute left, they make this terrible pass to players that can't touch it because they're in the middle of making a change. But Chris Stuhar fails to jump on that in time to turn it maybe into an offensive chance for the Jackals. So to the second period we go. Here's Brad winding up with it again, deep in his own zone, coming down the left side. He's going to round that player, move in, take a shot. But the Hellfish defender makes the save and keeps it out. Brad, the only player so far with the shot for the Jackals. Here's another play by the Hellfish. They try to go backdoor with that, and they end up with it again. Throw it out front to that player who scoops it on net, but a nice save by Trevor to keep it out, keep it 3-0. We finally see some offense from the Jackals as Aaron's going to push this puck up to Bob, who's going down the right side. You can see Chris Stuhar coming late. Bob's going to whip that across to him. Stuhar's in the slot, puts it on net, but it's into the breadbasket of the goalie and stays out. So offensive zone face-off, and after that, puck comes up the wall, and it sneaks through Brad and Troy as well, and that player's going to do well to race and catch it and turn into a breakaway from in close. Makes a nice move to the right, up and over Trevor's shoulder, and it's now 4-0 Hellfish. Jackals going to get an opportunity to get on the board, though. This puck going up the side of the ice. You see that Hellfish player there swat at Jason Davis's stick, the slash across the stick, so that's a penalty for the Hellfish. That puck almost hitting Trevor as he's heading off to the bench for an extra attacker. So here we are, Jackals on the power play. Gary tried to put that over to Rob, but it's read well by the Hellfish defenseman. Jumps on it, goes down the right side. Blocker save, though, from Trevor. So Aaron picks that up off the blocker, and he's going to head up the left side of the ice. And as he approaches the blue line, he's going to rip it, and he's going to shoot it so hard that the camera's going to freeze. But that does go through the goaltender, and a power play goal by the Jackals has put them on the board, and it's now 4-1 with an assist there to Trevor. Jackals looking for more. Eventually, Aaron's going to end up with this puck. Got a screen there, takes a shot, rebound comes out, but the Jackals are unable to get on it. So now just under a minute left here in the second period. Jackals trying to get out of this one, down 4-1. Bob in a battle, puts the puck back into his own zone. Bruce is going to try and move this out. It's going to hit that player in the shin pads. That other player is going to advance the puck up to the Hellfish player, who tries to throw it out front, and eventually it's going to end up on this player's stick, who takes a one-time slap shot, but a nice glove save from Trevor to knock it down. So you think maybe the Jackals are going to get out of this period, but then this happens with just a few seconds left. A puck up the left side, Rob battling hard on the wall, it gets chipped by him. That player's going to move in, go to the left, whip it back to the right past the glove of Trevor, and with just a couple of ticks left on the clock in the second period, the Hellfish are up 5-1. And in the third period, the Hellfish back off a bit, and the Jackals are going to start to get some chances. Here's Gary Mizuno coming up the right side. He sees Brad high. Nice little backhand pass to him. He whips that low blocker, but goalie gets down and turns that aside. Here's a turnover at the blue line that's going to result in a blocker save from Trevor. Brad picks that up the corner, and you'll remember Trevor's assist in the second period off a blocker save. Here goes Brad with the puck up the right side. He's going to cut to the middle to create a shooting lane for himself. Goalie bobbles it a bit, but it does stay out, so no second assist for Trevor. A little bit later, Hellfish coming up the left side. Cameron can't keep up with it, but that's a shot with Bob doing a good job of screening Trevor. And that puck's going to go past him, and it's now 6-1. Jackals continue to work, though. Here's a turnover by Robbie. Bunts that up to Troy, who's going to come down the right side. Big slap shot. Goalie does well to get a glove on it and turn it to the corner. Then the puck's going to come up the wall to Brad, who fakes a shot, walks in a bit, takes another shot with Troy in front, creating chaos. Can't find it to tip it or a rebound, and it stays out. Back at the other end, Gary Mizuno with a nice battle along the wall to create a turnover and then create a 2-on-1, which turns into a 3-on-2. He elects to take the shot, even though he had Rob coming late, but a good effort there by Gary. Hellfish back the other way now in a battle with Brad along the wall. They're going to throw this puck up front. It's eventually going to end up on this player's stick, who's going to go backdoor with it. And the pass, luckily, was slow enough that Trevor was there with plenty of time to turn that aside. Puck goes to the wall and then back down behind the net. And as play continues, watch in front of the net. Rob's engaged with the Hellfish player, gets a glove into his face, and then takes a swat back in the face from the Hellfish player. And the only player to get a penalty there is the Hellfish player. So Jackals go to the power play again. And Brad is once again leading the rush. He stops up and he sees Jason Davis cruising into the slot, whips that just wide on the left side. Jackals can't capitalize on that puck bouncing off the end wall. So with the Jackals still on the power play and Bob having chased a puck in deep, Bruce is going to throw that over to the right side. And of course, Bob isn't there, and that's going to be a turnover that gets turned into a breakaway the other way. The Hellfish player pulls it to the middle, slides it through the 5-hole of Trevor, and a shorthanded goal has made this a 7-1 game. Here's Aaron coming on the right side, trying to get that one back. He's going to whip a wrist shot up high. Windmill save from the goalie, sends the puck high in the air, but it stays out. So here comes the Hellfish player as time is winding down in this game that's over, and he's dipsy-doodling through the middle of the ice nonstop, putting pucks through his legs. And eventually he's going to end up tied up along the wall with Rob there. And then watch Chris Marshall come in, a little bit of a shove to push him aside, but that's enough for the referee to call a penalty, and that's going to mercifully end the game for the Jackals. A 7-1 loss to continue the losing streak and take it to 6 games. We have a brief look at the stats, just the one goal to account for. Of course, Trevor had the assist, but there's no column on the spreadsheet for that. And let's have a look at what that means to the overall stats. Now Aaron is alone at the top of the table with 7 points and 5 goals to go with it. Next up, we'll have a look at the schedule from the past week. You're going to see, of course, that 7-1 loss to the Hellfish by the Jackals early in the week. Then the Garbage Men had an overtime win. And then you see the Fraser River Motorboaters, who were second to last in the division, beating up on the Aldergrove Beasts, the team that got just moved into this division last week from a higher division, getting beat 9-0. And so because of that, you'll see another new team in the division, the Screaming Pylons, another 30-plus team getting moved into this division, and the Aldergrove Beasts getting moved out after just one game in the division. And you see the Jackals now second to last like they were last week. So here are the games in this upcoming week. The Jackals taking on the Fraser River Motorboaters, the team that is just ahead of them in the standings. So hopefully that will be a game that the Jackals will be able to put up a result in. They will have a number of their scratched players returning to action next week, it seems like. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll see you there.